All right, I'm going to read this poem to you, and as I'm reading it to you, I want you to mark it up. So if you see figurative language, then you're going to put simile or metaphor next to it. If you see rhyme, I want you to label it. If you see, or you think you know who the speaker is, I just want you to mark it up a little bit. So our poem, The World is Not a Pleasant Place to Be, by Nikki Giovanni. The world is not a pleasant place to be without someone to hold and be held by. A river would stop its flow if only a stream were there to receive it. An ocean would never laugh if clouds weren't there to kiss her tears. The world is not a pleasant place to be without someone. Okay, take a minute, mark up anything that you notice about this poem. All right, so what's one thing somebody marked up? Bailey. It has triplets. Now, what element of poetry? We just went through 5 elements. If we're talking about triplets, where would that go? Form. So I want you on your notes down at the bottom where you wrote form, we're going to write triplets. And how many triplets did you see? So there are 4 triplets. And what are triplets, Bailey? Very good. 3-line stanzas. So, I should have put that up here. The form of the poem is that it has 4 3-line stanzas, 4 triplets. Okay? Take a look at your notes. Is there anything else in your notes about form that you notice? Let's focus on form and get that one idea done first. What else do you notice about the form? What do you think, Alexia? Not form. Rachel? Okay, we've got to decide. How are we going to decide if it's structured or free verse? What do we have to do first? The rhyme scheme, we're going to mark it up. So did anybody label the rhyme scheme when they went through? All right, go ahead, Rachel. Are you just going to read me the alphabet? B, why'd you go back to B? All right, they're the same word, so obviously they have the same ending sound. And then the last one? K. So absolutely there is no rhyme scheme here. So if there's no rhyme scheme, Rachel, what would you say? Free verse or structured? It's free verse. We did see a little bit of a pattern with the stanzas, but there's really no pattern otherwise. Yep. There is repetition. Is that part of form? What would repetition fit under? Let's switch to another element. So let's go down to where we have sound. And there's repetition. And let's see if I can do this. Where do you see repetition, Riley? The world is not a pleasant place to be without someone. So almost the first and last stanzas are almost exactly the same. The first one's got a little bit more to it. The second part of it drops off a little bit. I do want to go back to form one more thing. There's one more thing I think you should try to see if you can find about the form. Is this about form? Oh, yes. You're writing it down at the bottom where you put your notes, yeah. Because when I ask you to go back later, and I might say, tell me a little bit about the form of this poem, you have a bunch of notes already that you can put into a sentence. So the better your notes are that you take now, the easier it would be for you to write about later. Because then you're going to have to go back and try to remember everything that we talked about. So I'm writing them off to the margin, but you have room on the bottom of your paper. I want to be able to see the poem and my notes at the same time. All right, form. Back to form. What do you notice about the form? We said other things that we're not reading the poem, things that stand out that make it different. What do you think, Tristan? Do you know what we call those words, a, and the? Who remembers those? No, not conjunctions. Good guess. They're a type of adjective. Article adjectives. So that is something to note. All 4 stanzas start with an article adjective. I wonder if the author did that on purpose. Now, I would probably not be very happy with you if you wrote me this poem, because it doesn't follow a lot of the rules that we've been working so hard to learn. But Nikki Giovanni, she's a famous poet, so she's allowed to write that way. Trusted? Yeah, we have no capitalization. What else? Just the first one. What else? There's no punctuation. Oops, I'm putting that back up here under form. That has to do with the form. So there's no punctuation at all. No commas, no exclamation points to show strong feeling. No punctuation at all. And we do have one capital letter. And I'll say that I've actually seen it both ways when I've looked at this poem, that sometimes it's capitalized, sometimes it's not, which kind of makes me wonder whether or not it should be. Okay, and it makes me think it probably shouldn't be because there's no other capital letters in here. Alright, so we've talked about form. Let's go back to sound now. We talked about repetition. Are there any repetitions of sound? Do you see any alliteration in here? Alliteration. Any alliteration? 2 words close together that have the same beginning consonant sound. That's usually not an accident. Look in the first stanza. What do you see, Bailey? Pleasant place. Do you think it's an accident that she chose the word pleasant to go with place? Do people say pleasant very often? Oh, it's a pleasant day. Okay? It's a good word, but people don't say it all that often. So we've got a little alliteration. She chose that word on purpose. It sounds good together. Do you see any other alliteration in the first stanza? 2 words, they don't have to be right next to each other, but the author probably chose them because they sound the same. Yeah, the hold and held, that H sound. So we've got some alliteration in this poem. We've got some repetition. What did we decide about rhyme, Rachel, when we did the rhyme scheme? Was there rhyme? No, we've got no rhyme. And what else don't we have? Look at your notes under sound. What else is missing from this poem? Rhythm. You couldn't really tap your foot to this song, or this poem. So we've got no rhythm. We've got no rhyme. We've got a little bit of repetition, though. So that might make me think, why did she repeat this stanza again at the end? Was she cheating? She couldn't think of anything to say, and she needed 12 lines, so she said, I'll just rewrite the last part, or the first part again. What do you think? Okay, because it helps make it flow a little bit. Okay. Okay, you're right. It is also the title, and it's probably something that's very important to her. Probably it's going to help us get back into the theme a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna come back and remember that later on. All right, what's another element of poetry? Riley? Figurative language. So, who found some figurative language? Jillian? Okay, where's the personification? An ocean would never laugh. That's personification. Why? Yeah, oceans can't laugh. That's personification. It's giving human traits. Wow, I hope you're writing neater than me. Do you see any other personification in that same stanza? Okay. If clouds weren't there to kiss her tears. So I could put in my notes that in stanza 3, we've got 2 personifications. So now we want to think of, well, what does that mean? An ocean would never laugh if clouds weren't there to kiss her tears. When I read this the first time, I think I misunderstood it because I just assumed that who would you think the tears belong to here, the way it's written? Tristan? Well, if we had to choose between the ocean and the clouds, it sounds like it would be the clouds because when it rains, it's almost like they're teardrops. But it's not talking about the clouds' tears. It's saying the clouds would kiss her tears. Who's her? Who's her referring to? The ocean. Now, how does an ocean cry? And how would the clouds catch her tears? How would that work? Jillian? Evaporation. So here's our ocean. Here are the clouds. They're catching the tears. That sounds like evaporation. It's part of a process, right? Can you have one without the other? And when it's saying she's kissing her tears, what's she really doing for her? Who kisses your tears? Who kisses your tears? That's a figurative language too. Nobody actually kisses your tears. What does that mean if someone's kissing your tears? Okay. So actually literally taking your tears away. What would be a figurative way? Let's think of how are you feeling if you have tears? Okay, like maybe your mom or your dad, or maybe you have a dog that you love, and when you're sad, that's the one that kisses your tears, makes you feel better. So we've got the clouds and the ocean working together to help each other. Can't have one without the other. They balance each other out. Do you see any more figurative language? Not sure? Alexia? Okay, can a river stop its flow? No, what could we maybe call that? I don't know that that's personification because people, it's not a character for a trait for a human. What do you think? Very good, hyperbole. It's an exaggeration. It's saying a river would stop its flow if... Okay. Why symbolism? If it was symbolism, I think we would say that the ocean is symbolizing something, or the clouds are symbolizing something. So if we wanted to say maybe the clouds are symbolizing like somebody who, like your parents, somebody who's helping you along, I could see that. Okay, I think there's another personification in that second stanza though. A river would stop its flow, there's our hyperbole, if... Okay, a stream can't really receive anything. That makes me think of people getting a present or something. So there's another example of personification. And again, we've got that idea of two things working together. Okay, a river wouldn't have to stop, or wouldn't have to stop if there was a stream there helping it. But a river can't just stop its flow for no reason. It's got to have something there to help it. All right, how about imagery, number 4? Do you see any really good, strong descriptive phrases in here that help you visualize what it looks like? Did anybody see anything? I didn't see anything either. There's no really strong descriptive adjectives in here. So there's really no imagery. So if we had to look at what's emphasized so far, if we had to pick one of the elements that stands out the most in this poem, the one that's probably going to help us figure out the theme, the meaning a little bit, which one do you think stands out? Well, let's look at sound. We said there was repetition but no rhyme or rhythm. Was there a lot of sound to this poem? What did we have a lot of? We had a lot of figurative language, so that one really is emphasized the most. So what you're going to do tonight for homework on the back is answer those 3 questions that have to do with the poem. So flip to the back. We didn't really talk about speaker. Who do you think the speaker is here? Who do you think the speaker of this poem is? Sounds like it's the author. And so we're thinking, what is she trying to tell us throughout this poem?